Nye McGee with EURweb.com. Thank you so much for giving me your time this evening to speak about your iconic hip-hop group. Although somebody on Facebook asked me, I posted on my Facebook today that I would be interviewing you guys, and if any hip-hop heads, old school hip-hop fans have any questions, to post them in the comments. And someone said, ask them why they call themselves a hip-hop group instead of a band.
We do call ourselves a hip hop band. We call ourselves the original hip hop band.
No, wait a minute, Rod. I think the individual actually meant the question in the other way around.
Why do we call ourselves a band and not a group?
Right. I think he really meant it that way.
Okay.
Well, we're saying individual because it could have been a girl, Delight.
No, it was a guy. Let me go to his comment.
Guy.
Let me see what he said.
The light is psychic. The light psychic. Good, but you just say he. But that's because you got third eye. Yeah.
Yeah, he said here a hip hop band and not a group. But
yeah, that's what he did. So Delight was right. So because when we came together, what we did is we put all of the elements of hip hop in one unit. So we put human percussion, which was the human beatbox, the art of DJing, which is with Prince Paul, sampling and all of those things that you do in the studio with the equipment, the drums that come from like all the break beats, right? So that's like all of the music. Right. And then you still on top of that had 3 rappers. So it really was a band. Like it wasn't like no, and this is no disrespect. Bobby, say it the way you say it.
No, I usually would just say that we're a stripped down version of your classic bands like Parliament Funkadelic, Ohio Players. But Daddy will put it in perspective. You had your keyboard player who handled the samples and the keyboard programming notes. You had DJ Prince Paul who scratched in certain sounds like guitars or horns, and then you had Wise who did the human percussion beatbox, where we had the percussion sounds, and then you have me on live drums. So we're just a stripped down version of our favorite bands: New Birth, Mandrill, Brass Construction. So we title ourselves as a band more than as a group because we had a lot more to give and to present than most of the artists, our peers that we were out with back in the days.
Bottom line is that during that time, in regards to education, the 70s, 80s, a lot of your schools, had gotten rid of their music programs. You know what I'm saying? As far as what I know, some of them schools got rid of their music programs.
They all got rid of them now.
Right. So that strips the instrumentation away from the kids, you know what I'm saying, or away from us anyway at that time. And being that we grew up on Kool in the Gang and so forth, and Ohio Players, and we can go on and on and on with different groups, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and so forth and so on. We wanted to carry that spirit, make sure that spirit remains. You know what I'm saying? Because it's our gender. It's our music gender. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes important that we document our history. So the whole idea of a band, has to exist, because now you have mostly single artists or individual artists. You don't have any real groups. You know what I'm saying? And I think the spirit of that should never go away. I mean, it's important in our presentation, because that's where, when you come down to the history of us as melanated people from Africa, we always had groups and so forth and so on. That's what we was about. You get together, everybody had their drums, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, or whatever the case may be. So the band is important, because it shows a sign of unity, You know what I'm saying? And not a sign of I-ness that you see now.
So on that note, let's go back. Most especially, I mean, if folks are Generation X like me, we know, we're old school hip hop fans. We know Stetsasonic, we know the hits. But for our newbies, the younger generation who's not quite familiar with your legacy, let's go back to the early days of Stetsasonic.
Well, we go all the way back to the time me and Daddy O, we have history before hip hop or Stetsasonic. You know what I'm saying? And what happened is, as there was a time when where we wasn't in each other's company, but when we did get back in each other's company, I found out that he was part of a mobile DJ group called Mass Communication. May he rest in peace, DJ Michael Bouchon. You know what I'm saying? And Daddy O at that time was MCing and so forth and so on. Me, I was just equipment carrying and so forth and so on. And one day, it just fascinated me what was happening, with hip hop then. And I said, yo, I can do this. So, I went to Daddy O. I said, yo, man, let's formulate a group. So originally we was known as the Stetson Brothers, or at that time Stetsasonic 3, in which, rest in peace again, MC Crown Supreme, myself, and Daddy O, we started doing shows or just putting on, when we traveled and did parties, hey, we would try to MC. That's how it went,
And then we ended up like I don't remember. I don't know if it was a Claro commercial, but I think it was hair. But there was a commercial that used to happen where there was a person and they were walking down the street and it was like two of them, and then they keep walking down the street and then it's more, and then they keep walking down the street and it was more, and that was kind of sort of the way things happen. Like
Right.
Wise ended up in the band. We was introduced to Wise by somebody else, and then Fuquan ended up in the band, and then Bobby was a friend for a long period of time, and he ended up in the band. And then Bobby came a little later, but Paul, we got Prince Paul. I mean, like we started attracting elements that made sense to us. And the one thing that Delight and I were real keen on was what we were going to be as a unit. We didn't want to do, and it worked out for us really well. We didn't want to do this whole kind of work for hire thing that everybody was doing. A lot of people was doing that. We could have did that. We could have been, Stetsasonic is really Daddy on Delight, and then everybody could just kind of come in and out. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But we was looking for people that was solid, that we could formulate this union and really create like a sound. Like a lot of Stetsasonic is about sound, and because Stetson means Stetson means style, Sonic means sound. A lot of Stetsa is about sound. It's about what that sound is going to be like. That was the premise and the trajectory of the Stetsasonic 3 MCs when it was just me, Delight, and Supreme. It was a sound that we wanted to represent. And by the time the rest of these guys came in with us, that was what it was about. Like what sound are we gonna make, and how are we gonna, and then how are we gonna maintain that sound? Like how do we make it, right? That's one thing. How do we make it? But then how do we hold it? And how do we maintain it? And the way we maintained it was with the members. That's how we were able to maintain it, by knowing that we had the best drummer, by knowing that we had the best human percussionist, by knowing that we had, and I'm saying this, the best DJ, you know what I mean? And by knowing that we had the best 3 MCs, in terms of the way we put it together. Never really, I would say maybe now, yeah, we never really known as like the lyricist, the way people do it. But when you start talking about three guys doing something together, the only thing that's close is Treacherous, probably. That's it.
As I was preparing for this interview, I had gone on to Wikipedia just to get, refresh myself on some of your work over the years. And then there's a note here that says there were rumors that y'all disbanded in 1991, soon after the release of your third album, Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. But it goes on to say, and this is the point I was going to make, a lot of your fans don't know that you're still performing, that you're still together. Are you working on any new material now?
First, it's always important for us to continue to reach out to our audience who love Stetsasonic and support Stetsasonic. I always tell people, we even spoke about this on our TV One Unsung that we recently had back in April. We explained to everybody that when 1991 happened, we actually didn't break up. We just kind of I don't want to say take a break. We made a decision that if we was going to move forward to do a fourth album, either we was going to have the biggest support from our company, which at the time was Tommy Boy Records, and we didn't get that big support from Tommy Boy Records for the forthcoming album. So once we knew that was going to happen, the best thing to do is, well, if we're not going to get the support, then we're not going to give you the album. So we never gave Tommy Boy that fourth album. So we all just went on and did our own separate things, and we all did well with that. But we always maintained to do shows. So in prior of not recording for a while, we always got phone calls to do shows. So we was doing shows like we did the Black Rock Coalition for Jimi Hendrix. We did that. We got some calls to do some Europe shows out in Europe. We also had a special performance that we did in New York before they closed Tramps. It was us and the Grave Diggers. So we was popping up every now and then where people was able to see us perform. Some people just missed us, but we was popping up. But it wasn't until 2019 when we got the call to do a Europe tour. And I know Daddy-O hit me up. He said, "Yo, listen, Kevin Dean. Kevin Dean is a great producer. He produced for Mary J. Blige and a whole lot of other great artists." And Daddy-O said, "Yo, Kevin Dean sent me this track, man. I was working on my album, but I told him this feels like a Stetsasonic track." So while we was in rehearsing, Daddy-O played it for us. I was like, "Yo, this is kind of hot. This is dope." So we all came to the collective like, well, we're going to do this track. Let's find something to do with too. And everybody agreed that, well, let's do the No BS Allowed song to this particular new instrumental, which we did. And we went over to Europe, to the Netherlands, and we did the festival in the Netherlands, and we did that song, No BS Allowed, to this new track that Kevin Dean produced for us. And the audience over there was like, "Yo, this is crazy. You guys still doing what you do. You're good." So when we came back home to the States, we was like, "Yo, it's time to work on a new album." And by the time 2020 entered, we got started on a new album. The album just got released in April, and I titled the album, the new album, Here We Go Again. So for everybody that you reach out to, particularly to you and your audience and your readers and everybody, Stetsasonic has new music out right now. It's a great album. We have not many features, but we got features on it that we knew that was going to get the assignment, which is Rusty Jukes, who's a great friend of ours from Brooklyn. Snoop the Hustler is a part of this. Actually, Snoop the Hustler and Mala Reigns is actually a part of our next single that's getting ready to be released now. The video is getting ready to be released in about a couple of weeks or so, called Cypher. R&B, legendary R&B artist Lilo Thomas is on it. He did the title track, Here We Go Again. So everybody needs to know that Stetsasonic have a brand new, fresh sounding album out now. Please show the love and support. Go get it, because we ain't playing no more. We actually working on the second
And
album
this will be video number 6 from this album. So we've already done 5 videos as well.
Right, exactly. So exactly. Right on. Tell the people, get out there and get it, because it's available.
And even as the album is out right now, we're working on the next album already.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's good. It's good.
So
good
who
time.
do you guys pull from, who inspires you these days? Are you listening to old school rappers, any of your colleagues, any newer, younger artists? Who do you tap into, to get inspired? to get creative when
I
you
think
before you go into the
I,
studio?
I think it's different for everybody. Like me, I'm a little different because I'm the old school guy that likes the new guys, right? So like most of my peers hate the new guys. Like I'm a Key Glock fan. I've been loving Glorilla since the beginning. Like a bunch of them I like. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't like them the way I like, say, Slick Rick and Kane, right? So there's a difference, right? In terms of like the way I like them, but I like what the like. I'm probably the oldest Kodak Black fan in the world, besides for maybe his grandfather, or somebody, right? But I love Kodak. Like I love what he does. I love that. You know, he Haitian. He got a whole little. If you know anything about Zoe life and all of that, then you could see it. You could see that, and I like that. But I think it's different for all of us. The one thing I will say is this: when you get to our tenure, the stuff to study is much more vast than it was in the past. So in the past, you're looking at groups like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, groups like the Treacherous Three, in which I mentioned, group like the Fantastic Five, group like the Master Dawn Committee, a few individuals. A lot of people wasn't individuals like the light said, but Busy B was there as an individual. Curtis Blow was there as an individual. But you're looking at, you know, it's really just a handful of people to study. When you fast forward into 2024, you got this plethora of Eminems and Black Thoughts and Kendrick Lamar's and Megan the Stallions and all of that. So it gives us a bigger pool to pull from, and not for nothing, like it ends up being more valuable to us than it does somebody that was born in like 94, because we know, because we can take it all. You understand? So we can look at Migos and see part of Treacherous and Migos or whatever. The other thing is we have the ability, because we're not, I don't want to. We're not like we wasn't there in the Bronx, right? So I'm not making that claim that we was there in the Bronx, but we were there right after, and so we are part of the original generation of record makers. We might have not been the guys of the original generation that went into the parks and all that, but we are part of that generation of record makers, and at least what people call the golden age. We you know, that's the fabric, right? So we were there with, you know, we was there when Dougie Fresh made the show. We was there when Will Smith made Parents Just Don't Understand. We was there with LL when he made I'm Bad. We was there with Public Enemy when they did Bring the Noise. So having that kind of knowledge allows us, I believe, to be inspired by a bunch of stuff. The other situation is where we come from originally, which is, you know, we come from the legacy. I always say this. When I say we, I'm talking about Delight and myself, and that's just because we're talking about the originators of the band. We called it hip hop because they called it hip hop. Who was they? The guys in the Bronx. Delight and I only thought it was an extension of the black music before us. That was it.
I know myself. I pull from from the new cats, besides Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I consider them to be the newest cats, but I pull from them. You know, and I'm in love with A Boogie. You know what I'm saying? So that's who, you know, I play besides Jada Kids and artists like the Locks and so forth and so on. You know, those are, you know, the ones. Even Nas, you know, I'll pull from him. You know, or Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? That's where you know, I keep my ears to them right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm, you know, personally, I'm under reconstruction. So, um, um, and I think I'm going to find, you know, that new thing that I need to push on. You know, so That's where I'm at.
Obviously, Stetsasonic has left a lasting legacy in hip hop. What do you feel are your greatest contributions to the genre, and how do you hope to be remembered within the hip hop movement?
I think that we're coming in right now. The fact that it's been over 30 years then.
33.
33.
The Jesus year.
The
Jesus
year.
here.
Yeah.
Actually, what I heard that 33 years is the longest on record. Guinness owes us an award. 33 years, from what I hear, is the longest hiatus between albums of any genre. At least that's what I heard, unless there's a longer one. But I don't. It's longer than Steely Dan. It's longer than the Stones. It's longer than everybody.
Right. So bottom line, I'm looking at the fact that we're like one of the first groups to do hip hop jazz. You know, the way we did, you know, basically no samples. When you're talking about a live drum track like Go Stetsa, you know what I'm saying? We did trap music with
Before it was trap.
Before it was called trap. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago. You know, if you check the records, you know, On Fire and Miami Bass and so forth and so on, you check that and you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? And you'll hear it. And besides that, us, you know, getting involved internationally with movements with Free South Africa. You know what I'm saying? That our piece, our contribution to the freeing of Nelson Mandela, you know, and making people aware here in the United States. And just being a band, you know what I'm saying? Just being a band. I mean, hey, now you find every group.
Yeah, everybody got a band now. Now you're on stage with a band. Right, Rod?
But it's a difference between them other bands and us, because the thing about it, when we perform, our drummer also has a microphone. Their drummers don't. You know what I'm saying? So everybody participates in the show. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, I want you to do this. No, everybody participates. You know, Prince Paul has a microphone. Bobby has a microphone. I have you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they're hired help. You know, we're a family act. It's a very big difference.
That's a t-shirt, Wise. That's dope.
That is. That's
t-shirt.
Quotable.
They're hired help. We're a family act. There's a difference. I like that.
Yeah,
that's hot. Hey, when you put the SCT there,
yeah.
That's hard, Wise. That's hard.
What were some of the greatest obstacles you faced during your journey, and how did you overcome them?
Bobby, take that.
Wow, obstacles. Oh, of course, the record company, Tommy Boy Records, was an obstacle. You know, Stetsasonic, the band itself bumped heads. You know, because we you know, Delight said this a while back. He said, "Yo, I always had a vision of this band," and then we because it's Delight and Daddy-O's band, it was created through them two first. We all had to be a part of this vision. We all had to know, like, do we all got the assignment, what we all here to do? And we all got the assignment, but by the time we was preparing to get Tommy Boy aboard on the company on board to help us push this vision through, that was one obstacle, because we had problems with that, and everybody in the group were producers. At one point, the record company tried to single out people to figure out exactly what should happen with this band or how this band should look or sound. And that's not how it was in the beginning. In the beginning, it was about we all contribute, no matter what it was. So we faced a lot of obstacles. We also faced a lot of obstacles, members in the group, you know, where it's a whole lot. If I want to say this too, you know, you can catch the TV One Unsung on demand for those who haven't seen it. The Unsung tells a story. I think you'll see the story better if you watch the TV One Unsung. But we got over the obstacles because of the fact you still see the 5 members here. You see Prince Paul is here. You see Daddy-O is here. You see Delight is here. You see I'm here, and you see Wise is here. We still got the assignment. And the assignment is keep pushing on, because we created this. The reason why you see the Roots, the reason why you see the Fugees, the reason why you see the Black Eyed Peas, the reason why you even see MC Lyte now performing with a band, the reason why you see Queen Latifah performing with the band, is because of us. So the fact is that we're still here. We are still here to prove to them that what y'all thought we got buried. We didn't get buried. So we letting everybody know. Here we go again, which is the name of the new album. So please go get it if it's.
That's right.
I want to say this, and I want this to be quoted. I want everybody. I'm gonna quote it, and then I'm gonna unquote it. I want everybody to understand. It took not only Daddy-O, but it took us. In the beginning, Daddy-O was really bullhorning to most of our peers. Yo, y'all need to get out and make new music, make new records. And a lot of them was like, we don't think the young generation want to hear from us. My answer to that was, when we got in the conversation, was, who cares about the young audience? Make good music. They jump on. They don't. We still have an audience we can sell to. So I want to make this clear quote. Stetsasonic, in 33 years, have just released a new album called Here We Go Again. We did it again. So pretty soon, you're going to hear promos, such and such just released a new album in 10 years. Such and such just... I'm going to say it again before I unquote. We did it again. The first to be the hip-hop band, and now we're the first from that classic era of golden era of hip-hop to do a full-length, brand new album in 33 years, unquote.
What would you say are your proudest moments and greatest achievements?
I mean, it's manifesting as we push on, as we expand what we have done in the past. The fact that we're able to still produce great music right today. The fact that we're able to go out here and put on those shows, you know what I'm saying, and show the ones that are young now, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this is what we can do. We can be the what they call Mick Jaggers and whatever the case may be, and still, keep the fire going. You know what I'm saying? Keep the music going and stuff like that. Because here's the point. Did y'all see the quote by Method Man, said that he would never perform
at Summer Jam again? Yeah.
Yeah. And what that was, when I read it, you know what I'm saying? The thing that hit me, you know what I'm saying, was to my point, my brother Daddy-O has been bullhorning since he's been recording since 2016. Y'all need to go pick up those albums, because those are great albums. But bottom line is that the reason why that connection probably is lost, you know what I'm saying, because number one, the game has changed, and maybe we needed to do more than enough to let them know, that, hey, we're still here. We're still here with us, with the young people and so forth and so on. That's the reason why that was, because there was no new music that's put out by our peers from the golden era or from the 90s era and so forth and so on.
And I think
real quick, go ahead, Daddy.
As far as achievements are concerned, I mean, there's a lot, but I'll mention two. One unknown and one pretty much known. One was years ago when we used to, so we was always a unit, but a lot of times when we were doing the contests and stuff like that, it would be Delight and I rapping and Wise doing the human percussion, doing the beatbox, right? And we used to go around the city and do this thing and really kill it, like everywhere we used to go. Then we used to enter all these contests. Actually, Stetsasonic got their deal through a contest. A lot of people don't know that. Like, we wasn't signed through no A&R or nothing like that. We got our deal through, we won a contest and we got a deal. We were walking down the street one day, Delight and I think Wise might have been even with us. And we saw, you know how you see those flyers on the wall and you could take a little teeny piece with the numbers? And it was a concert coming up called Rock Against Racism. It was in Central Park. It was going to be a big concert in Central Park at the big band show called Rock Against Racism. And the flyer wasn't to invite bands to be on it. The flyer was just for people to, you know, talk about it and have community about this. And we said, yo, we're gonna be on that show. And we were the only rappers on that show. And on top of that, we wrote a song called Rock Against Racism and killed it. And you talking about it, we was not signed. And we did that. That was one, because we've always, I don't know, Stetsasonic has always had this kind of grandeur in their head. Like not a fallacy, but grandeur in their head. Like one of the first shows that we ever did when Crown Supreme was with us was at Carnegie Hall. We actually was rappers at Carnegie Hall. Like that's the kind of thing that we always saw. So that was one, the Rock Against Racism. That was huge for me. The other one was what Delight talked about earlier, which was the making Africa, making the song AFRICA, and that performance that we got to do at Wembley.
That's what I was going to say.
When Nelson Mandela came home, it was so rewarding because there was a lot of people on that concert. I mean, Patti LaBelle, Terrence Trent D'Arby. I mean, just, you know, tons of people. But none of them, they was just there. They were singing the same songs that they made before. Our song was about Nelson Mandela. And the reaction, what are we talking, Bobby? 80,000 people, 90,000?
Yes, it's 80,000 people, 80,000. Wembley.
it was, and it's on YouTube. Like, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it really was unreal, because you got all of London saying Free South Africa to the top of their lungs to fight apartheid. And I mean, when Delight groomed us, the one thing he said is, music is made for the mind, the body, and soul. And I said, D, what that mean? He said, D, we got to do records to make people think. So we got to do the mind records. We got to do records to make people dance. So we got to do the body records. But we got to do the soul records, so those records that we get inside folks. We got to get up in them. And if you ever came to a Stet show, you'll see that. And it goes into what Delight was saying, because Delight, I had my own issues about the Method Man quote too. But I think I have other things that's based around it. For instance, it was Ebro's idea to grab Kane, Rakim, Meth, and a few people and put on this set in Summer Jam, right? Bad move. You got Megan, Glow, Lola. That's not the way to do it, especially you don't clump them up. The other situation is that you gotta figure out your connections. I'll never forget Bobby Simmons, this man right here. We did this show one time, that show with people under the stairs. And he pulled out, because Delight used to do this all the time years ago. Delight used to always have us open to the most popular song on the radio. The most popular song on the radio. He said, D, that's the one. Every time. That one, D. we did Just Say Stet to Lil Wayne's A Milli.
Yeah.
My God,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
crazy. So,
Yeah.
there's elements that they missing because Future wasn't on the show. I would have came out to a Future record. I mean, you can't use people records that's on the show. That's kind of blasphemy, right? But Future wasn't there. It's a bunch of dope people. Why? The first thing I would have came out with was Kendrick's They Not Like Us. Doing lyrics to Just Say That. I don't care what lyrics I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing They Not Like Us, and I'm saying the young people ain't like us, but I'm doing it's a science to this. And that is why being a band is so rewarding, because I never forget this, I'll stop. When I did my first solo record, right? I did my first solo record in 1993. And I had a hit. I did this record called Brooklyn Bounce. I had a hit. And I went on tour. I went on promo tour with it. And I'm in Virginia. This record went #1 at the radio station in Virginia, right? I got my little man Richie with me doing my little Big Cap, God bless the dead, was my DJ. I got my little man Richie with me, like my sidekick, like my hype man or whatever. And I never forget, I came out and it wasn't whack. I came out, I did a few things. And I looked around, I said, man, my guys ain't here like that shit. That was the hardest thing in the world, to not look back and see them and say, damn, I got 20 more minutes of this by myself. I mean, I pulled through it and I knew I had Brooklyn Bounce to end it, but man, that was the hardest 40 minutes of my life. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's a science to this, and I'm sure Kool and the Gang feels that. I'm sure Mandrill feels that. I'm sure Earth, Wind, and Fire feels that. I'm sure Brass Construction feels that. Again, like the light said, we could go on. You know what I mean? But like, there's a science to being in a band. There really is a science to being in a band, and that is, I can't take nothing away from solo singers. Some solo singers and artists are some of my favorite people. Bryson's one of my favorite. Luther Vandross, one of my favorite. You can't take nothing away from Whitney, one of my favorites. So I'm not taking away from people who do solo stuff. But man, there's a different kind of reward when you're a band. Different kind of reward.
Now, speaking of band, one of my readers wanted me to ask you guys this as it relates to Prince Paul. Was there ever a De La Soul collaboration that we didn't know about or was in the works?
No.
We never got the chance to do a De La collaboration. That was during the time when, again, I spoke to you earlier about Stetsasonic planning for a 4th album. But but Daniel,
I did a record with Pasa. Yeah, me and Pasa News got a dope record.
Yeah,
like it's real dope. That's the closest. That's the closest of a Stetsasonic De La Soul collaboration is a record I got called From My Hood to You with Pasta News. But no, we didn't. I think the trajectory was different, right? I think De La was a little different. Like something Chuck D says all the time, which I think is one of the dopest things in the world. We go on tour, right? So we go on this tour, and top of the tour is LL Cool J and Houdini, their headliners. Step down from that is, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and on the weekends, Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew with Slick Rick, right? Step down right in the middle is Eric B. and Rakim, right? And then EPMD comes on later. But the last 2 acts are Public Enemy and Stetsasonic. Those are the opening acts. Everybody on that tour had their own bus. The 2 biggest acts that had the most people shared a bus. Stetsasonic and Public Enemy shared a bus. But, and here's to my point, out of that bus comes 3 phenomenal classic projects. 1, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. 2, Stetsasonic's In Full Gear. And on the back of that bus, this little 18-year-old is writing this record called 3 Feet High and Rising that he goes back and makes with his friends. So 3 Feet High and Rising, Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, In Full Gear, all come from one bus ride.
Wow. Now I'm going to throw another question to you, Daddy O. Someone wanted me to ask you. Ask Daddy O about working with, what can you tell us about working with Freestyle Fellowship?
I got a quote that I said, there's everybody's top 10, and then there's Project Blowed. I introduced Micah 9 one time to Africa Bambaataa as the best MC I ever knew. That's another life. And you guys get a glimpse of it with Kendrick. You get a glimpse of what that is, what that whole thing is with Kendrick. That's not regular MCing. That's not regular rap. This is rap acrobatics at its highest. I mean, these guys are so talented. Freestyle Fellowship is scary talented. Like it really doesn't make logical sense in terms of. I remember being with Freestyle Fellowship one time, right? And it was, it's for them, right? And Peace is looking at my screensaver on my Macintosh, and there's some squiggly thing going around, and he looks at it and goes, "That's a rhyme style." Like, what? You know what I mean? Like it was amazing. Those guys are amazing. They're still amazing. Shout out Ace Alone. Shout out Self Jupiter. Shout out Peace. Shout out Micah 9. But those guys are like that. That's otherworldly. Like that whole Project Blow crew. All of them. Ganja K. The other kid. All of them. It's very different. And like I said, the closest that people know is Kendrick, but Kendrick is there like he's not even their son. He like their grandson. Like he comes out, but he comes from that cloth though.
So wait, here's another really quick fan question. Someone wanted me to ask, who is Sally? Is Sally a real person?
What you always say, Bobby?
let the light tell. Delight. Who's Sally, Delight?
Sally is a description of a female from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Who talks like that, walks like that. You know what I'm saying? Some to the point of
she got a program together.
You're right about that. Got him to the point of some envy and some jealousy. You know how certain girls, the way they carry themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they're not stuck up. They real cool. You know what I'm saying? Real cool. Real down to earth. But it's still to some, other women's envy. You know what I'm saying? And to some Negroids who, looking to pop that thing, but she holds herself in high esteem. She's like a goddess in the hood.
So it's safe to say then Sally wouldn't be the type of woman we'd find today on OnlyFans. Is that safe to say?
No, Sally would never be on OnlyFans. She might own it though. She might own it as a businesswoman though. She might own it.
She might own it, okay.
Yeah, but she ain't gonna be on it.
Yeah, right that's true. But Faye be on OnlyFans.
Her fans be on OnlyFans. I love it.
Faye be on there talking about, because
Are there any lessons you've learned along the way that you wish you had known earlier in your career?
Be humble. Be humble.
Yeah, you know what I would say? You know what I would say? The New Yorkers, it's certain things that we didn't do. I don't want to say right, because we did make some classic music, But it's certain things that we didn't do independently. And that hurts because E40 is one of my friends. A lot of these rappers, West Coast, Scarface is one of my friends. A lot of these guys, West Coast, Southern guys, CeeLo Green's one of my friends, a few people. But I've learned that some of these guys, like 40 explained to me, I sat down with 40 and Be Legit one time, right? And they told me, they said, Daniel, because they were selling records out of their trunk with Sick With It. And they said, Daddy, we went to Jive and we told Jive, you're going to give us $1 million January 1st every year, whether we sell one record or 1 million records. But that's the deal. And for years, January 1st, regardless to what the royalty split or whatever was, Sick With It got $1 million. Because they was like, if you don't sign this deal, we'll continue to sell out of our trunk. And so I feel like we signing to people and all of that and not doing it ourselves, especially when we had, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck, especially when we had some of the biggest hustlers in the world. Alpo running around, Rich Porter running around, all of them running around, all them Lamborghinis and Mercedes going down 125th Street and drop tops and all of that, eating that Willy burger. All the Southern dudes did is take that money, 8Ball, MJG, they some of my friends. All they did is take that money and poly it. Cash Money too. Cash Money did the same thing. And poly that money into doing their own thing. So by the time they sign with companies like Universal and Jive and all that, they can write their own ticket. I feel like I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Because I never knew that I could write my own ticket. And so I had to be on Tommy Boy's ticket because I ain't know no better. And that's the one lesson because not only would we have been rich, but it would be a different situation. You know what I mean? But depending on record companies, it turns into something different. We waiting on advances and all that from them. They ain't waiting on none of that.
So based on that, for aspiring artists looking to break into the industry, what advice would you give them based on your own experiences in hip hop?
Well, I would say to them,
go ahead.
I would say to them, for all the upcoming artists that's ready to get into the music business, study the Stetsasonic new album. Here we go again. It's out right now. Go get that. Go get it because you need to understand it. We back. We not playing.
I think. So there's a couple of things. One is this. People say this. You hear people say this. You hear older guys say it. Might not hear young guys say it much because maybe they don't know. But I will say this, and it's true. A hit record is a hit record. Now, people can say what they want to say, but a hit record is a hit record. And it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Yes, some things do slip through the cracks. Look, I watched disco come. And throughout disco, there was a whole bunch of people that couldn't sing. Tanya Gardner, God bless you. That girl can't sing a lick. Heartbeat was a hit record. Okay, so a hit record is a hit record. So that's one thing is what Bobby is saying. Yes, we are promoting ourselves, but it's true in terms of what he's saying. If you don't study the greats, you're never going to be great. You will never trust what I tell you. When I tell you, you will never be great. So that's one thing. The other thing I would say is that you have this opportunity as a young person or a person that's getting into the business right now to be able to engage with your fans on a level that I could not. I had a bag at Tommy Boy on First Avenue called fan mail. If somebody in Kansas liked me, there was no way for me to know. Did you hear what I just said? 0 ways for me to know that somebody in Kansas liked my music. I had no connection. There was no internet. There was only phone lines, and long distance calls was hella expensive. Okay? The party lines had not even come up when I was making records. They came after I made records. So there was no way to know if somebody in Houston liked me, if somebody in San Francisco liked me. But besides for what the record companies were doing and the little bit of radio promo and all of that. Nowadays, you got the ability to engage with your fans one-on-one on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I don't care what you choose. TikTok. It don't matter to me. People think platforms matter. They really don't. They really don't. Platforms really do not matter. What matters is your engagement on the platform. You can use any platform to talk to your fans. It doesn't matter. But the bottom line, but that's the one thing that I will say, you got this ability to talk to them one-on-one, to get their opinions about things, to rally them, to get them to rally around you, to do those particular things. And stop thinking that the internet is the end-all be-all, because you're going to have to put your feet on the ground. At some point, you gotta, the old school people used to say, shake hands and kiss babies. That's what we used to say. At some point, you got to put your feet on the ground. That's the one benefit that we don't say old school, we say classic hip hop, we say all of those things. We don't really like the terminology old school, but I'll use it here. That's the one thing that the old school artists have that a lot of them don't. They might have a lot of fandom. When our fans see us, ask the guys what kind of hanging out. I wasn't there, but ask the guys what kind of hanging out they did when they did that show at the Jazz Cafe in London after the show. They hanging with our fans are like family, kind of. Look at what happened when we went to the Netherlands, and after we're done with the festival and those people. We in the Netherlands, people are bringing their kids to the show. Mm-hmm. And it's dope because these are the records that their kids saw them singing all their life. Mm-hmm. And now they go see it, and it's like, whoa, that's the guy that you were singing about. And not to toot our horn, and we still dope. No disrespect, but we're not walking around at 300 pounds and breathing hard and all that. We running across strays like we ain't got no sense. You know what I'm saying? The lights always, always the first one to come out with that. Y'all know what time it is. It's gonna be that. Like, it's always gonna be that. You know what I mean? And so you have this ability as a new artist to take all of the original principles, good show, good music, all of those. But now you got the ability to talk to your fans one-on-one. But you got to be real about it. But I'll go right back to what Bobby said. You got to study, because to sit there and think that you're just going to listen to the radio and do something, it's going to, one of the sadder things about some of the newer music that comes out, and it's not only in the hip hop genre, people always try to pick on hip hop like that, but it's not just hip hop. A lot of it just dies in a year or two. I always tell people, where's Rich Boy right now? That Throw Some D's was the hottest record in the world. Where is Hurricane Chris? Hey Baby was the hottest record in the world. Because if you're not gonna do that thing that some of these guys do to stay relevant, and not relevancy is relevancy is a relevant word, right? But to stay in there, you've got to do something to perfect your craft. And that's what, and I'll go back to what Bobby said, that's what you learn when you listen to an album like Here We Go Again, because I've played this record for young people and they be kind of tripping, like, that's you? Like, yeah, it's me. Like, that's not you. I'm like, it is me, though. I got to show them the video so they see it's me for real. Because they don't really think a guy my age could rap like that. They don't think guys of my stature could get down like that, like could make that kind of music. And again, Bobby and I say it all the time. We're open to A&R records for our peers, because our fear, well, yeah, you're going to see people coming out with records. My fear for my peers is that their record's going to sound old. I'm scared for them. I don't have to worry about that. I got Delight. I don't have to worry about that. I really don't. I got a guy that calls me and says, D, here we go again. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, you don't remember the Ozzy Brother record? And da-da-da. Man, that's what we need to do. I'm like, okay. Yo, C-Doc, grab that, here we go again, and whatever. He does it, puts it together. Bobby takes it, he deconstructs the whole thing and gets the band to go back and play it and calls Lilo. You know what I mean? Like, I have that. Y'all don't. You know what I'm saying? So study what I'm doing, study what my guys are doing, and you can figure it out. Listen, if it was 5 young people or 6 young people or 7 young people that took the time and said, yo, we gonna maybe, I don't want, I'm just gonna say, we're gonna be the new Stetsasonic or we're gonna be a new band, they would be the dopest new act in the world.
We just recently celebrated 50 years in hip hop. Based on the current state of hip hop, the current artists who are charting, the current artists considered hot right now, do you think hip hop can survive another 50 years?
Right?
I say, why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not?
It already came this far. It ain't going nowhere.
Why not?
You
Why
know,
not?
in the beginning, people thought it was a fad, you know, and we talked all that jazz and let people know, you know.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, think about it. We couldn't even, you know, because we didn't come in the door and get an album deal. You know, now you have guys like Mace, they got album deals, R&B budgets, and so forth and so on, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, why not? You know what I'm saying? It's you know, it's all about, you know, understanding your past. You know what I'm saying? Because when a great jazz musician step up to the plate today, they have to rely on the history of the past. That's how the now comes about. You know, the now comes about because of the past. Otherwise, there is no now if there is no past. You know what I'm saying? There is no now if there is no past. So the best of us should always study what has been done in the past. You know what I'm saying? Because it is integral. It is an integral part to establishing what you can do now. Period. So why not?
Yeah, hip hop will survive. It's going to survive. We already went and did the 50th anniversary. Daddy-O and I would say they treated it like a funeral. Why are you treating it like a funeral? Y'all making it sound like it's over. So here we go again. Stetsasonic got to come to the savior.
Here we go.
Here we go again. So they're gonna follow us and watch right now. And I'm gonna say this. And I told D and them, I said, yo, man, we gotta start telling these people the truth. So you getting it. A lot of our peers, and even some of the new ones, they're watching us. They're watching us at what we're doing. Are they doing it right? Are they doing it good? And they know we're doing it right, and they know we're doing it good. So yeah, hip hop will survive because they're watching us because we're not finished.
And it will evolve. Like I think even with this new album, you see that sonically things will evolve. Things will evolve, and there's a bunch of things to talk about. I will say this: the survival. I don't want to say survival. I hate that word. The progress, the progression. Hey, that's good. The progression of hip hop will lie a lot on the shoulders of cats like us, though, because Future ain't gonna be able to do it, and I'll tell Future that to his face. It's a bunch of them that can't do it. Finesse 2 Times can't do it. Glorilla can't do it. Lola Brooks can't do it. They can't do it. They too young. They shoulders is too weak. They can't do it. It will have to be cats like us that do it because we can deal with the depths of the storytelling, right? Hip hop is a lot of people will tell you it's a griot art. A lot of people will tell you it comes from the African griots, and that was the essence of what we do. Hip hop is a very powerful. Now it's not just a storytelling art, very powerful storytelling art. I just taught a class on lyric writing at MIT, and I brought up Slick Rick's The Moment I Fear, and how greatly written that song is, and how vulnerable it is at the end, and all of those particular things. And I think about our new album, and I think about songs like Lolita, and that lyrical prowess in that record, and songs like Message in Our Music, and these kind of not only metaphoric things, but these things that we could delve into. So that storytelling is gonna rest on a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of that storytelling is gonna rest on the shoulders of the elders, because as the light always says, what's a society without elders? Like, what is that? Like, what do you do? Like, really? Yo, it's a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. Man, I wish I remember the name of this movie, because I had downloaded it a million times. But it's a movie. It's a 60s movie, and it was about these young people, and they started putting old people in concentration camps.
I know the movie you're talking about. Wild in the Streets.
Wild in the Streets, that's it. And yo, that soundtrack, bananas. Yes. I got to give it to Prince Paul, because it's crazy stuff to say. Wild in the Streets, right? And so you see what happens, right? And that can't happen to hip hop. Like, it can't. You're gonna need the shoulders and the backs. And that's why we are so adamant, and have been so adamant, about our peers making music, because nobody is gonna say what Kane is gonna say. I hope there's rumors of a Rakim album. I'm already sick to my stomach seeing all the features. It's bothering me. It's really bothering me. But but that's just me. Like because when I look at him, I think of Kendrick and I think of Cole, and I say these guys could care less than about a feature. Same thing with Wayne. Wayne do records with people, but Wayne don't need nobody. You understand what I'm trying to? The cats that I like for now, same thing with Kodak. They don't really care. Yes, I do a record with so-and-so because, but I ain't trying to just, no, you're going to know who I am. And so, but we need those Rakim stories. We need those Kane stories. We need those Slick Rick stories. We need those Light stories. We need those Latifah stories. I could keep going. We need Special Ed stories. We need Chuck D stories. We need KRS-One stories. We need what these people can say, because they can say things that other people can't say. You know what I mean? Like I just, shameless plug, I'm just deconstructing some of the material that I did and trying to figure out what my next solo thing is. And I found out that, like, in a few of the projects that I had put together that's not released, throughout there was like all of these stories. So I grabbed 10 records and put together this project called East New York Stories. What I'm talking about in those records, nobody but somebody my age could talk about it. I'm the only guy that could say, you shouldn't let us catch you flossing, you lose your mink like that. I can say that. They can't say that. All they do is shoot them up, bang, bang, all of that. We take you to the side and say, listen, man, I know it's hard, but you're not leaving here with that code. So just take this L and go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Right, you looking at us, we big old grown men. You know better. OJ, you gonna do me like that? I'm sorry, youngin. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, there's things that we could say, and when you listen to Here We Go Again, you hear these songs. Like, if you listen to Delight's lyrics on Stet Dreams, what he says in that record, and the way he's talking to the young lady when he says, those red bottoms, I know he got them. Like, he's explaining to her, like, I get it. I know you, like, you want to take trips and all of that, but he don't love you. Only a guy like Delight could say that to you. A young boy don't care. You understand what I'm trying to say? But it's like, I see where you at, but rock with me for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just rock with me for a little bit and come, and I think we need that. We need that. And I know my peers are good for it. I know they're good for it. They just need me and Bobby to A&R the record.
And there it is. Well, Wise, Bobby, Daddy-O, Delight, this has been a very insightful, inspiring, enlightening conversation.
Thank
I
you.
just recently interviewed Tariq Nasheed about his hip hop documentary, and it blew up on my YouTube channel. So
Yeah,
I have a
I
feeling,
love the yeah. He got a nice little piece there. He put together a
yeah,
nice little piece there.
yeah,
He
yeah,
did his thing. He did his thing.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But those are the kind of things that are starting to happen, right? Like, because now people are like, what is the real? So people are seeking that out now. You know what I mean? Like, look, I taught a class at MIT on hip hop lyrics. 90% of my class was Asian because these kids are so engaged, kicking back to me, asking questions. I'm like, because people are now saying, okay, that was this, that was this. We went through the pandemic. Oh, did I say pandemic? We went through the pandemic. We went through all of that stuff, right? And now they're saying, like, what is the real? Which is a great, you know what I'm saying? It's a great time. Like what I say, like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, I love Here We Go Again. I think it's the best record this year. Chuck D called it the album of the year. But man, these next couple of Stet albums, oh boy. Right, Wise?
Yeah.
These
Yep.
next records, oh boy.
So we thank you. We thank you for your support, and we know that once people read your story, we know it's going to blow up. We know we're going to get them because a lot of people want to pay attention. Real quick before you let me go, I want people to know that they can also catch us on IG, Instagram at The Real Stetsasonic. So it's at The Real Stetsasonic on Instagram. You can also pick up and check us out on stetsasonic.com. All our music there in Bandcamp. Y'all can follow us. I guess guys can give they separate social as well. But
No,
everybody,
just keep it there. Keep it there. Keep it there.
yeah, here we go again. Album is out now. Please show us some love, support it, and we appreciate your support. Thank you very much.